Shalom. Giving all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the apostles, bishops, elders of Great Millstone. Shalom to you, hopefully elect out there. All right, and as the title goes, this is just going to be a spiritual rant. I got one particular precept that I was meditating on all day. All right, and this is just in regards to the fact that, man, as a matter of fact, I'm gonna get this because it's a scary thing, knowing and understanding what we know and understand, the times that we're in, all right, and the fact that we could be out here just walking around not knowing and not understanding what we know and understand. All right, it's a scary thing, and we are truly in a very, very, very privileged position. Because one thing I tell myself all the time, when I'm praying to the Lord, man, that, hey, the Lord, for one, he don't owe me anything. All right. That's why the scriptures talk about knowledge puffeth up. A lot of they get to a certain level, man, and they think that they're on a level. They think that there's somebody, or none of us whatsoever are anything. All right. And just for the simple fact, man, if it wasn't for the spirit, power, grace, and mercies of Yahweh Shai Shai, none of us will be where we are. The Lord did us a favor, So who are we at the end of the day? But it's a scary thing. It's a fearful thing, because if anything, for the most part, these other nations, these patriotic Edomites and whatnot, for the most part, they see what's going on and they see what's coming. All right. It's Jake, 2/3 so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native American Indians that really have no idea what's going on and what's getting ready to happen. It's Jake that it's just dumb, lost in the sauce, in the abyss. And that's why I'm going to get this in Isaiah 16 verse, I'm going to start at verse 2. It says, "For behold, the darkness shall cover the earth, and gross darkness the people." All right, so that gross darkness, that just ignorance, all right, just walking around here completely not knowing, and like the apostles say from time to time, Jake is spiritually deaf from the neck up. And Esau, they make mockery. They make all these zombie flicks and whatnot, which they're really mocking you Jakes that just, again, have no idea. They have absolutely no clue. They have just no knowledge of what's going on, man. They're in that gross darkness, just complete ignorance. All right. It says, "But the Lord shall arise upon thee, and his glory shall be seen upon thee." And that is the threat at the end of the day, for any Israelite man, in particular, so-called Negro, Latino, Native American Indian man, all right, is a threat to Esau's society, to his empire, to his kingdom, because that's how Esau, these top wicked elites, these Job 9:24s, at the end of the day, they operate, they prosper in Jake's ignorance. All right, that's how they prosper. So again, the fact that Jake is waking up, more particularly the Israelite man, the elect Israelite man is waking up. You see, this is why this is a threat. And it's why, as I've said, brothers have been saying, more and more, we're going to see more censorship, cracking down. More and more they're going to, tie us into all this so-called terrorism and things of that nature, man, to shut us up at the end of the day. You see, because the light is out there. All right, through the spirit of Yahweh Shai, man, the light is out. All right, and more that light is shining brighter and brighter. People are waking up. And it's shitting on Esau's parade, man. It's raining on Esau's parade, man. It's pissing on everything he's got going. So, again, the fact that we are in a very, very, very privileged position. All right, this is the highest calling. the highest honor, you know. And another thing, man, because again, it's just more and more, man, just being more grateful that Yahweh Shema Shai, out of all the billions of people on the earth, he called me into this truth. Now Lord willing, he sees me through this until the end. All right, because if you have this truth, you definitely been called. It's a matter of being of the chosen. Many are called, but few are chosen. But the fact that I've been called out of all the billions of people on earth, that alone, because now Lord willing, I make it. But even if I don't make it, it's just like, man, it's been a pleasure. It's been an honor, a privilege to serve Yahweh Shema Shah, man. Because this is to a point, and I remember asking a brother this like 2 years ago, like it just gets to a point where, we're so beat down and we're just so tired, man. It's just like, man, at the end of the day, whether I'm of the elect or not, man, the Lord has to come, all right? The Lord has to put an end to this, because as I always say, worst case scenario, which is really the best case scenario, all right? Being an Israelite, first and foremost, even if you don't make it on this side, listen, you're going to come back and you're going to be all right. All right. So it's just, as I was saying, I remember asking the brother this like 2 years ago, like, because I got to the point where I was even in my prayers, man, like, even if I'm not of the elect, I remember asking the brother, like, is it, am I going off for even mentioning that? Like, because, we know and understand that ultimately the elect are going to get saved. And again, even if I don't make it, it's just like, I know I'm going to come back, we know we're going to come back. And just having that mindset, that's why I was asking the brother a long time ago, like, am I off of having that mindset? And the answer is no, because even if you don't make it, hey, we're going to come back and we're going to be good, but it's just, again, man, the fact that Jacob's been beat down so much, man, even if I don't make it, Lord, you still, at the end of the day, the Lord still has to put an end to this. He still has to do something. This shit has to come to a stop. It has to come to a stop, man. But nevertheless, all right, sticking to the topic, man. All right, again, the fact that being in a privileged position, this is the highest honor. All right. I'm gonna get this. I think that's Hebrews. Hebrews. This isn't what I wanted, but nevertheless it is good. In Hebrews 3:1, wherefore, holy brethren, partakers of the heavenly calling. See, and that's the thing, this heavenly calling. All right, this is no small. You got a lot of people, man. They fight for that seat at the Fortune 500 company or whatever. All right, and for the most part, because it talks about that in Ecclesiasticus. You got people, because like it said, wherefore holy brethren. You see, these people, the Lord set up people to maintain this society and to maintain this world. The Lord want to wear that number. We have a holy calling. We have, the Lord has a separate use for us. All right. There's a separate use for us. The Lord has different plans for us, because, we were all, for the most part, chasing that bag, that American dream. We were all there at one point, trying to make something of ourselves, basically trying to settle in captivity, but the Lord had different plans for us. All right. And that's again, because this job title, this job description, it's no light thing. Remember who you serve, the King of the universe. Remember who we serve, the King of the universe. All right. This is the highest calling, the highest profession. That's no light thing. So again, because it's a privilege, man. It's a sincere privilege and honor, to serve in the ministry of Yahweh Shema Shai. Now, though it doesn't look like it now, But it's supposed to be like that. It's supposed to be like that, you know, because this thing of ours is so precious. It's so precious, you know, that the Lord, hey, he had to hide this thing of ours. He had to hide it in plain sight. That's how precious this thing of ours is, man. The Lord hid it in plain sight, right? Let's see if I can find this. Bear with me. Like I said, I only have one precept in mind. I'm gonna get this in 2 Corinthians 4. Man, I'm gonna start at 2 Corinthians 4. I'm gonna start at verse 1. Therefore, seeing we have this ministry, and that's the thing, we have this ministry again out of all people. The Lord called me. The billions of people on earth, and it's probably more than that, you know. But the fact that the Lord, out of the billions of people on earth, he called me, he called you. Because again, if you have this truth, you've been called. It's a thing of being of the chosen, but if you have this truth, you've been called. All right. Like I said, again, therefore, saying we have this ministry, as we have received mercy. Again, the Lord did us a favor, you know, like I was saying earlier, like, man, the Lord don't owe us nothing. He doesn't owe us. You know, Jake gets to a level and they feel like they're something when they're not, you know. The fact that we have this truth, you know, it's the fact that we have this truth, man, it's, you know, that's the token of the Lord's mercy, man, you know, upon us, because we don't deserve anything. As much as these fake and phony Christians talk about the Israelites, you know, going off, now all nations can be accepted. Well, they're right on one part. All right, the fact that we did go off, all right, and in fact, the Lord would have had every right to do away with us as a people. Nevertheless, he didn't. All right, and the fact that he didn't, because he loves his people so much. Again, he did us a favor. All right. You know, the first covenant, we blew it. Listen, the Lord did us a favor, showed us mercy. Well, listen, y'all blew the first one. Well, I'm gonna make a new one. The Lord did us a favor. So none of this is owed to any of us. And that's why we, at the end of the day, we just ought to walk humbly, man. You know, we just walk humbly before the Lord. You know, because we ain't shit. All right, we ain't shit. But it says, but I've renounced the hidden things of dishonesty, not walking in craftiness, nor handling the word of God deceitfully, but by manifestation of the truth, committing ourselves to every man's conscience in the sight of God. But if our gospel be hid, it is hid to them that are lost. And again, look at 2/3 of our people. They're gone in that gross darkness, complete ignorance. And that could be us. All right, that's the point. Like, just be grateful, man. Again, understanding the times that we're in, knowing what we know, and the fact that we have this understanding, this knowledge. Listen, we don't deserve to be here, man. We're in a privileged position. I'm gonna keep saying it. We're in a privileged position, man. It you know, it brings you to tears sometimes. You know, Jake is stone cold out here. You know, Jake is walking around here mean mugging. But when you just think about the tender mercies of the Lord, sometimes, man, it's just like, man, you know, it brings you to tears sometimes. You know, because look at where we are and where we could be at. All right, if the Lord continued to allow us to, you know, chase this false dream or whatnot, these false hopes, imagine where we would be. You know, we know our individual stories before the truth. Imagine where we would be if the Lord allowed us to so-called make it in this society, in Esau's kingdom. So be grateful. You know, yeah, the shit sucks, it hurts, and you know all that and whatnot. But listen, all right, fuck all this bullshit, man. As I've said time in and time out, man, the more we grow in this thing, and the more our perspective, you know, it widens. You know, we just more and more we're looking at the bigger picture, man. This shit don't mean nothing. All this shit is small. This shit don't mean nothing. You know, we're just simply pilgrims passing through. All right, this is not the final rest. This is not the final destination. We are just simply passing through. But it says, verse 5, for we preach not of ourselves, but of Mashiach Yahushua the Lord, and ourselves, your servants, for Yahushua's sake. Verse 6, for God who commanded the light to shine out of darkness have shined in our hearts. So again, there it is again. All right, us, pertain to us, to those of us that are in the know, because we could be out here walking around here just not knowing, you know, just not preparing, still distracted, you know, because to this day, you still got niggas talking about having that so-called GOAT conversation, man. You know, Michael Jordan or LeBron, Michael Jordan or Kobe, man, the hell with all those niggas. All right, fuck all those niggas, man. But this is who Jake is still talking about, man. This is what Jake is still talking about. You know, it says, has shined in our hearts to give the light of the knowledge of the glory of God in the face of Yahushua Mashiach. Verse 8 is the point. But we have this treasure in earthen vessels, that the excellency of our power, it's like that the excellency of the power may be of God and not of us. All right, so the point being that that treasure, again, this thing is so precious. This thing of ours is so precious. It's so special. You know, it's a treasure in which go on to the parable about how, you know, you finding this treasure in the field. Listen, hey, you find this treasure in the field, hey, that man that finds the treasure in the field, what does he do? He goes and sells everything and, you know, tends to this treasure, roughly paraphrasing, you know. This thing of ours is so precious that the Lord, he hid it in plain sight. Because in that day, when shit hits the fan and all hell breaks loose, hey, it's gonna click like, damn, those niggas, man. And that's what we are to these people in the world, man. We're niggas and whatnot. All right, you know, that's what we are to these people, man. We're just niggas. But in that day, these people, it's gonna click like, damn, those niggas, man, they were right. They were telling the truth. Like, man, you know, those weren't just some niggas on the corner with potato sacks on, man. But for the majority, it's gonna be too late. All right, so I'm gonna get this in St. John chapter 6, because I mentioned the other day, starting at verses 66. All right, just going into a lot of those jakes, man. They said the hell with it, you know. They turned their back and they went back into the world, whatever. All right, so after this took place in St. John 6 and 67, it says, then said Yahushua unto the 12, will ye also go away? Verse 68, it says, then Simon Peter, and remember, for those that have ears to receive, Peter being King David, you know, he's the rock. All right, he's the king, under the king. All right, so under that, under the rock, all right, you're going to have the house of David, and they're going to come in the same like-minded mindset, right? It says, then Simon Peter answered him, Lord, to whom shall we go? Thou hast the words of eternal life. You see, and that's the point. All right, this was the precept. I was thinking about it all day. Like, what else is there to do? What else is there to do? Where else is there to go? There's nothing else out here, man. What is there to do? You know, another thing that I talk about from time to time is, hey, pretend to this thing of ours, man. Listen, we become this. We are this. I am this. You know, you have that conversation with yourself in confidence. Like, man, I am this. All right, I am this. You know, this is me. You know, and it made sense when the brother Nahoya, not too long ago, he made a statement about how, hey, A lot of Jake, man, that come into this truth and they end up leaving. They're not the same because, you know, you come into this truth, you know, on the reverse side, on the flip side, it's like someone that's been incarcerated all his life, right? You know, and once it comes out into the real world, man, it's like, how can you, you know, you can't really, or they spend most of their life in you know, being locked up, and they come back into the real world. It's just like, you know, it's just, how can you shake that off? It's just like, because you become that. You become a product of your environment, like this, you know, like the saying goes, right? Well, once you've been in this truth for a certain period of time, you try to go back into the world. It's just like, you can't really, you know, it's just, you can't really reinstitute yourself or recuperate or whatever, you know, because again, in this thing of ours, we become this. This is us. This becomes our life. This becomes our livelihood. You know, so what else is there to do? Where else is there to go? What else are we gonna do outside of this thing of ours, man? What else is there to do? Absolutely nothing. All right, absolutely nothing, man. You know. So again, as a matter of fact, because I read that Hebrews 3:1, I don't think I finished it. Let me go back to it. Because what I wanted was in Hebrews 10, but I'm gonna go back to this. Back in Hebrews 3. Hebrews 3:1 again. Wherefore, holy brethren, partakers of the heavenly calling. So that was the point. All right, this heavenly calling. All right, this is the highest profession in the universe, serving the king of the universe, the creator of the universe. All right, this is where it's at. Right, it says, consider the apostle and high priest of our profession, Hamashiach Yahushua. You see, and with that being said, going to Hebrews chapter 10. Because, you know, even when it comes on a worldly level, right? Someone that's been working a job all their life, 30, 50, 60 years, you know, and come retirement, you know, and come to find out, that's, you know, oftentimes a lot of people that end up retiring after working a job their whole life, you know, oftentimes they end up dying. They end up, you know, because that's all they know. That particular profession, that's all they know. You know, that's all they know. You see? And that's on a worldly level, a worldly scale, you see? But in Hebrews 10:23, let us hold fast the profession of our faith without wavering, for he is faithful that promised. So you see, again, just to make the point again, with as far as our profession, you know, and there is no retiring in this thing, all right? You know, like I said, a lot of people that, you know, end up, you know, leaving a job, retiring off the job after so many amount of years, oftentimes, you know, it's because, hey, you know, they got into that profession young, and that's all they know. So once they retire, it's like, what else is there to do? You know, what else is there to do after you retire? You know, and you know, like I said, that particular profession, it just becomes your life. It becomes you. As I said before, with this thing of ours, this is us. It becomes our profession, and for the most part, most of us have been called into this thing young, while we were young. You know, most of us are still young men, but hey, a lot of brothers have been called into this thing, you know, middle school, high school, you know, the apostles, you know, they've been called into this thing young men. When they were young men, and you got niggas like this guy from Sakara talking about the apostles need to retire. Retire from what? What else is there to do? Where else is there to go? What, you know, what? Lord willing, you know, we're in this thing until the death. All right, until the Lord calls us home. At least, you know, the bare minimum, until the Lord calls us home. You know, but nevertheless, hey, this is a very special thing that we're a part of. Again, we're in a very privileged position. You know, sometimes we just get so caught up in the moment. I'm speaking for myself, all right. might get so caught up in the moment that we could tend to, take this for granted, and we could tend to just let things slip. As far as just remembering how precious this thing is, man. We could forget sometimes, but we are in a very privileged and special position. All right, a position that's not called for the majority, but nevertheless, we've been called into this thing. We've been called into this. So, a few things that was on my mind. Lord, one of this is edifying. All praises to you. How about Shema Shai? Shalom to you. Hopefully,